The market is in a crazy position right now, and I have a few companies I want to talk about. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and I was going to look for my watch this morning, but I couldn't find the time. All joking aside, SOFI, NVDA, Tesla, those are the three companies that I'm going to be talking about. Need to kick things off with the SPY though, and I will tell you later how to get your free stocks from Moomoo. I'll tell you about where to see my buys and sells for how I'm playing this market, and then also my options course that I'm building over at the Patreon. In the meantime, I do want to get right into the technicals for this. So let's pop Moomoo up there and let's start talking about things. So the first thing I want to start with is the SPY, because this one, you can see this magenta line that I have on here. That is the 430 level. That is the magic number that I've been talking about on this channel. You can see that we already tagged below it. And as of yesterday, we closed at 432. And in the pre-market, we're back down as I record this to $430.70. So things are getting intense and pretty tight on this. And it is still possible that we bounce off of that, but we do want to be prepared should we break through it. As a matter of fact, we want to be prepared in either case. So let's get right to SOFI from here and talk about what we could possibly see out of this. So for SOFI, in the pre-market, we're currently sitting about 745, and I had taken advantage of some put options. Matter of fact, I closed out my position on this at 50% to the upside, so that was pretty nice. But you can see the head and shoulders pattern that we have. You can see the neckline that's here around $8. That is in magenta, by the way, because I think that is a critical level of resistance that we have, that should we come back up and retest that and fail to break it at $8, possibly see further downside. We already have a bearish pattern up here already, so it is possible to come down to this most critical level of support, which is down at $7 per share. And you'll notice that's not that far away. So if the market itself pushes down even further, we could possibly see, I'll even put this up here on you, we could see that push down all the way to $6. And I'll tell you what, SOFI is a company that I'm long on in my portfolio, but I do take the options plays to play those short-term movements that we see in it. So should we break strongly down through 7, which also break the 200-day, I think that it is possible that in the short term, we could even revisit 6 if the market does happen to go that way. So we would be on the lookout for that. And in the face of a strong rally, you know, it is possible that we break 8, but we'd have to see if we get those ultimate level of retest that I was talking about in one of my previous videos. So you can go back and watch those recent ones that I have, and that will give you more context on the overall markets. So for SOFI, that is absolutely what I'm watching. If we take a look at the 30-minute chart on this, so giving up that level at about 745 on this, it looks like we're really going to start struggling, especially below 740. Every time that we tested that support, we bounced back up, but just a little bit, and you can see that sideways consolidation. The momentum that we have in the pre-market here is a little bit bearish. That is of low volume. We're going to have to see how things open for that. Let's move on from there to NVIDIA. So for NVIDIA, we're starting to kind of climb out of the trenches here just a little bit when we look at the 30-minute chart. I do want to go back out to the dailies. So here for NVIDIA, what I have is this level right in here of about $420 per share, which depending on which side of that we're on is support or resistance. And let me see that right now. Yesterday we closed at 422, and in the market we're still sitting about 422. So it's possible that we still find that as support. If the market does sell off, we can be down below that. And I think the ultimate level of support on this is all the way down at 375. Now that assumes that we give up 410, which is in our way, and then we also have 403 to 400, which is also in our way. But should we lose those levels of support, then we also have that firm support, I believe, down at 375. That would be the strong market sell-off. And if it's super strong after that, like we'd really have to see that sort of drawdown, we could see this thing come all the way back to fill this gap that we have in here, which would take us all the way back down possibly to that like $330 level. So that would be something really intense and not worth talking about at this point in time, just worth sort of mentioning. And I do think that if we only get a minor sell-off in the near term, that we stay around that 400 plus level, and then this ultimate resistance that we have, so should we see some strength coming back into the markets, does put us at around $440 per share, and we have the 50-day here that is starting to curve down on us. That could be a slight bearish sign that we have in the near term for NVIDIA. And I do want to point out for NVIDIA, much like with SOFI, that I am a long-term investor in NVIDIA as well. I will still play the short-term movements with options as they present themselves as opportunities to make even more profit off of that. So for NVIDIA, this is one that I still think is one we're going to see strong price action from, and I do have that over my Patreon. So let me take just a quick moment to put this up here for you. Moomoo is where I do my trades with my options, so you could check that out, and you get up to 16 free stocks by using my link down in the description. Each stock is about $2,000 a piece, and then here are the deposit levels that go along with getting those free stocks, and you'll notice a free share of Tesla or Google that goes along with that $5,000 deposit level. My buys and sells to see how I'm playing both the up and down of this market in order to make profits in both directions are posted over at the Discord, which is available through the Patreon. And in that Patreon, I also have my options course where you can learn how to amplify your portfolio through the power of options. And that starts with the very beginner, and then we'll go up from there to advanced options trading strategies. So back to the charts here, and I want to talk about Tesla. There we are. So we talk about Tesla here. What we have going down here, 238 is that support that we're looking for. And right now in the pre-market hours, we're currently sitting around 245, which is about right. I would say that's its own area of support and resistance. But should we break 238, we have room all the way down from there to about 217 before we hit really firm ultimate support. And we do have this stop right around 225 to 228. So we also want to be watching for that. I don't have it marked on here right now because that starts to get things too crowded. I do want to give these magenta levels for where we're sitting at for support, where we have ultimate support down here in magenta, and then ultimate resistance up at the top for this. And this is more of one of those near supports. Matter of fact, let's turn that one blue because that is not one of those ultimate levels that we have. There we go. So let's talk real quick about momentum for each of these three on a daily basis. So when we go back to SOFI, you can see we're, depending on which you're going with, I have the 12 and the 14 up here right now. Either way, we are either oversold or really darn close to being oversold, and the market bias can drag it down further. That doesn't mean that the stock's ready to turn around, but it is something we should be looking for, and that shorting might not be ideal under normal circumstances. So the market bias is most definitely going to impact that, and in the pre-market hours, it is something that is currently negative. So we're going to be looking for that. All right, so if we go to NVDA, where does that put us right now? When we go to NVIDIA, you can see that we actually bounced off of that oversold, off that 30 as per looking at RSI 12, which is a little bit more reactive and can help give you early entries. The 14 will delay things and is better for a little bit late for exiting. So just a little bit of knowledge there for you that you can go ahead and play around with. So for NVIDIA, it is possible that we're starting to turn that momentum around, and we really want to pay attention if we come all the way up to 50. Do we cross 50 and go bullish, or do we bounce off 50 and continue back in this bearish direction? So we don't have full confirmation here that momentum is shifting. It is something that we want to watch. Now, I do want to point out, I can see with these, you can see with these blue lines that I have in here, that this is the broadening wedge that we have. And we've currently, if I get rid of this line right in here for you, you can see that we've currently been treating that as resistance, and that is something absolutely worth paying attention to, that should we stay on the bottom side of that, then it's sooner that we start to go back down and revisit 410, possibly 400, maybe this ultimate level of support that we have at about 375. So for Tesla then, there we go. For Tesla, we actually just crossed over 50 down into the bearish territory, and you can see what sort of day that was. Here we're about 50. Here we crossed over 50, and then what happened? We got a sharp drop following from that, and we're down below the 50 days, so also a bearish signal. And it is important, should we cross back over 50, that we could see strength back up to 255. And if not, then that's something that, should we resist that 50 and start heading more down to the bearish territory, that we start to see some of these other levels of support play out, possibly at about the 232 level, possibly about 225, and then we have that ultimate level of support down here at about 217. So guys, those are the values that you want to pay attention to. Those are the levels that you want to pay attention to. So the market, we want to watch that for the overall bias. And then from there, that's really going to influence the stocks in light of no new information. I do want to point out that Tesla has their deliveries coming up for Q3. They come out on October the 2nd, so you want to be watching for that. And then otherwise, these stocks, they're in the market's hands besides the other catalysts that might be out there for the companies. So be watching the markets, and then also on top of that, watch what the stocks, watch what the technicals are showing us. Right now, they're not showing us a lot of roses and sunshine coming out of this. So that is absolutely crucial that you pay attention to that. Guys, the Patreon, check it out. Check out my buys and sells that are available over in the Discord through that Patreon. If you don't know about options and you want to, or if you want to get better with options, come on over, check out the options course that I'm building right now. And it's a fabulous time, wonderful time over there in the Discord. High quality people, passionate about finance. I'm in there throughout the trading day, and I'd absolutely love to see you over there. Don't forget about your free stocks from Moo guys, and get access to a wonderful trading platform as well. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.